Members of the Maryland State Retirement and Pension System may need to take a leave of absence for membership at some point during their career. During this webinar, I'm going to provide retirement coordinators the information they need to know to successfully help an employee planning a leave of absence. Our goal is to clearly define retirement terms such as leave of absence, share the impact of different types of leave on a member's retirement account, as well as specify the responsibilities of the member, the employer-designated retirement coordinator, and the retirement agency before, during, and after any leave period. You are never alone in your endeavors. Where appropriate, I will identify the resources available to assist you. So let's begin our journey. A break in service is defined as any break in employment greater than 30 days in which hours and contributions were not reported to the state retirement agency. More specifically, the member did not actually work for more than a month. They were not paid for over a month, and therefore contributions were not owed. Members and coordinators often assume membership ends after a 30-day break in service. This is not correct. In most systems, membership continues for 4 years after separation of employment. Members returning to employment and membership in the same system and plan are reinstated to their previous retirement or pension system and plan. So when does membership end? Membership ends after the member is separated from employment for more than their membership period, withdraws their accumulated contributions and interest. They withdraw their contributions. They are no longer a member of the Maryland State Retirement and Pension System, and therefore they are no longer eligible to collect any further benefits, including disability or death benefits. Membership also ends at retirement or death. Retirees are not members. They are retirees. They have already begun collecting their retirement benefits. Let's review types of leave. Paid leave means the member is using paid leave, such as annual, vacation, administrative, sick, donated, or any other type of leave reported as paid hours. Leave without pay means the member is not working, they are not using any type of paid leave while absent, and therefore they are not being paid. Military service is time away from employment in which the member has been called to serve in the military. They are not being paid for time worked, nor are they using paid leave. They may be receiving differential pay, but differential pay is not reported to the state retirement agency. And finally, workers' compensation. Member is not working or using their earned leave, but is being paid a workers' compensation benefit. Note, if the member is receiving accidental disability, total of the compensation award must be reported to the state retirement agency. For pension purposes, a qualifying leave of absence is defined as a leave of absence without pay status, which was approved by the member's employer and the Maryland State Retirement Agency for the following reasons: member's personal illness, birth or legal adoption of child, or a career-related study. Keep in mind, a qualifying leave of absence may be approved for a minimum of 30 days and a maximum of 2 years. Coordinators often assume that the Federal Family Medical Leave Act covers pension benefits and that any FMLA qualifying event is also a Maryland State Retirement and Pension System qualifying event. FMLA does not apply to pension benefits. Maryland law sets the provisions for pension benefits. As noted previously, an employer-approved leave of absence for a member's own personal illness or medical treatment is a qualifying event. A leave of absence without pay to care for a family member is not a qualifying event, regardless of the type of relationship or FMLA coverage. Pension coverage ends after a 30-day break in service. What are the benefits of applying for a qualified leave of absence? Continued survivor benefit coverage. If a member on an employer and state retirement agency approved leave of absence dies, their beneficiaries will receive survivor benefits. Members on a qualified leave of absence are eligible to purchase additional service credit during their leave period. In addition, upon their return, contributory members may purchase service credit for their leave period. If they do not return, they have up to 60 days after their leave of absence period expires to purchase the credit. In addition to the survivor benefit protection, non-contributory members earn service credit while on a qualified leave of absence. Non-contributory employers are listed on the screen. If your employer is not listed on the screen, your employer is not in the non-contributory system, and this slide does not apply to you or your employees. It is important to remember that a member's leave of absence without pay status cannot be approved by the Maryland State Retirement Agency if the agency does not receive a completed leave of absence application form 46, or if the employer has not signed to approve the leave of absence, or if the reason for the break in service is not a qualifying type of Maryland pension or retirement leave. Inactive members are members who are still within their membership period, who have a break in service and are not on an employer Maryland State Retirement Agency approved qualified leave of absence. Members have an inactive status if they do not qualify or they do not apply for a leave of absence and have a break in service greater than 30 days and less than their 4-year membership period. A member may become inactive because the reason for their break in employment is not a qualified type of leave. They did not submit a leave of absence form 46 to their employer for approval. Their employer did not approve their leave of absence, or their form was not submitted to the retirement agency and therefore could not be approved. Members who are beyond their approved leave term also have an inactive status, which could occur either after they've reached the maximum of their 2-year approved leave period or after the expiration of the period that they requested. Inactive members separated from employment are not eligible to earn or purchase additional service credit during their separation. When an inactive member dies while separated from employment, their beneficiaries do not receive survivor benefits. They may request a return of the inactive member's accumulated contributions. This is why law and regulation emphasize the importance of submitting a leave of absence form 46 prior to a qualifying type of leave. Vested refers to the right to a retirement benefit payable at a later date. Vested members have earned enough service credit that if separated from employment, they are eligible for a future benefit. Inactive vested members may apply for their benefit when they reach normal retirement age. Their benefit allowance will be based on the average final compensation and their service credit earned prior to termination of employment. Vested members should keep their address and beneficiary information up to date with the retirement agency. Non-vested members separated from employment or their survivors may request the return of their accumulated contributions. Please advise non-vested members that withdrawal of their funds ends their membership. If they withdraw, they are no longer a member of the Maryland State Retirement and Pension System, and they are not eligible for any future benefit. Furthermore, if they applied and were approved for a leave of absence, withdrawal of their accumulated contributions ends their leave of absence period. Intermittent leave. Coordinators often ask about employees who have exhausted all their leave and take intermittent periods of leave without pay within various periods of employment, such as someone with a chronic illness or a birth of a child. Regardless of the leave period noted on the Form 46, or which was approved by the retirement agency, the approved leave period ends upon the member's return to payroll. While both of the prior examples qualify as a pension and retirement type of leave, the reason they may need to take another break in service may not. such as the parent of the newborn or chronically ill member who returns to a leave without pay status to care for their sick child, which would not be a pension qualifying type of leave of absence. Therefore, a new leave of absence Form 46 is needed for any break in service for periods of time greater than 30 days for a qualifying reason. So let's review. Paid leave. Members using paid leave, such as administrative or sick leave, reported to the retirement agency as paid hours, do not need to complete a leave of absence Form 46. Contributions continue to be withheld by payroll and hours are reported to the retirement agency. Leave without pay, members are not working, not using any type of paid leave while absent, and therefore not being paid. They are on a leave without pay. Hours are not reported, contributions are not paid to SRA. They may be qualified for a pension leave of absence if the break in service is due to the birth or adoption of a child, the member's personal illness, or for an employer-approved career-related study. If the member takes a break in service without pay for any other reason, it cannot be approved for pension purposes and they do not need to complete a Form 46. Military service. No hours should be reported or contributions paid to the Maryland State Retirement Agency, regardless of whether they are receiving differential pay. Military service is not considered a qualifying type of leave of absence, but the member does need to notify the retirement agency of their absence by completing the bottom of the Form 46. This notifies the retirement agency that they are serving our country and should not be urged to withdraw their funds regardless of whether they are vested. And finally, workers' compensation. Member is not working or using their earned leave but is being paid a workers' compensation benefit. Hours are not reported to the State Retirement Agency, nor are contributions paid. This would qualify as a pension leave of absence for personal illness, and a Form 46 should be completed and submitted to their employer and the retirement agency. What are retirement coordinators' responsibilities in assisting members with a leave of absence? Retirement coordinators should inform all members of pension qualifying reasons for and the benefits of an approved leave of absence. Coordinators also review these benefits and timeframes with members planning a qualified leave from paid employment for more than 30 days, providing them with the leave request form 46 and encouraging them to complete it. If the member is unable to complete the form, coordinators may complete the form on their behalf. Note, there is a distinction between unable and unwilling. Indicate on the form that the member was unable if they are unable to complete the form. Review for completeness, making sure the member indicated the exact dates of the leave period, indicating month, date, and year. Complete the retirement coordinator section with the date the leave was approved and certify approval by your signature and date. The form and appropriate explanation or supporting documentation must be submitted to the State Retirement Agency for further approval. When a leave of absence request is received, the State Retirement Agency determines if the employer-approved leave meets the legal definition of a qualifying reason for an approved leave of absence. If the reason for the leave of absence does not qualify by law and regulation, the agency notifies the retirement coordinator. Upon returning to employment in the same system, a member may be entitled to receive eligibility and credible service for employer and a retirement agency approved periods of leave of absence. To receive service credit for a qualifying leave of absence, a member must not be otherwise entitled to receive service credit during the period of the member's absence. Member must complete and submit a request to purchase previous service form 26 and supply supporting explanation and documentation of leave and promptly provide additional information at the request of the retirement agency. They also must pay the required member contributions with regular interest before retirement. Retirees cannot purchase service credit. The leave of absence period must be purchased prior to retirement. If they do not return to work, the member has 60 days after their approved leave period expires to purchase eligibility and creditable service credit. Coordinator responsibilities when a member returns to work. Retirement coordinators should remind members that they may purchase service credit for the approved leave period and provide them with the request to purchase service Form 26. Coordinators certify the leave of absence period. The State Retirement Agency regularly communicates with our retirement coordinators by email, phone, and in person to keep you informed and able to respond to members. You can find more leave of absence and retirement information on our website. Also, take a moment to review our newsletter, The Mentor, which is also a valuable resource. The Member Services Unit is your main contact for member matters. You can reach us by email or phone. We are located in Baltimore at 120 East Baltimore Street, 14th floor. Thank you for your time and commitment to our members. We appreciate your dedication to enhancing your skills and knowledge during this webinar.